Hey guys, Brandon Woolham with CCM Magazine, and today we are hanging out with pastor and author Justin Kendrick. What's up, man?
Hey, Brandon, good to hang with you.
Yeah, so we're just about a week out now of this book. The book has been out for a week, I see.
Yeah,
How to Quiet a Hurricane is the short title, but has a little bit more. If you have a recording like this that you can get it all out, it's How to Quiet a Hurricane: Strategies for a Christian Endurance in the Midst of Life's Storms. It's out
yeah,
there everywhere now. Take us inside your new book.
yeah, absolutely. It's been out for a week. It actually just hit the USA Today bestseller list today. So thank you for
Nice.
everybody that's been getting it and kind of diving in. But the book is really about endurance. I think as a pastor, I'm getting a front row seat week after week, year after year to the hard times in people's lives, and that's a privilege. And of course, live through some of my own. But asking that question, how do we become people that don't fall apart? How do we become people that actually don't just survive but thrive in the midst of challenge and trials? So that's really what the book is about.
A lot of strategies in this book. It sounds like maybe preview some of the biggest strategies that you're looking forward to people seeing when they open up this book.
Yeah, for sure. I think the second chapter dives really into the heart of strategy number one, and that is, I call it the weakness paradox. And I think a lot of people think that, especially in hard times, we have to try to be strong, and the truth is, we actually have to lean into our own weakness. That the more we realize our weakness, the more God's strength moves through us. And so I try to make that practical. Of course, the Apostle Paul makes that really obvious. He says, "When I am weak, then I am strong." But the weakness paradox really says that there is no end to the grace of God in our lives when we fully embrace our dependence on Him. And so that's really where things start when it comes to the strength that God supplies.
As people make their way through this book, well, what's something that's in there that maybe they're going to read and they're going to be like, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way."
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of Christians are missing a theology of suffering, right? Like we think that kind of following Christ means like my life's going to be easy and he's going to sort of bless me, and then of course when that doesn't happen, it's this moment of chaos. Like what do I do now? And I really dive into building a robust theology of suffering. In other words, God has a purpose in the midst of suffering, and he actually gives us tools to thrive through suffering. But we got to know those tools, and then we have to apply those tools. And I think that section in particular, for a lot of people, it seems to be resonating because it's a real missed opportunity in our time.
How long has this book here been in the works?
It's funny. I mean, like I'm sure if you looked at your life, Brandon, and you kind of reflected on your journey, you realize that God has been preparing you for the moment your whole life, right? And so I think for me, my my mom had cancer when she was pregnant with me, and doctors told her to have an abortion, and she decided not to. And as soon as I was born, she had a full hysterectomy, and I was born cancer free. And so it's like we all come into this life with a fight, right? And from there, divorce, and then my parents getting divorced, and some of the challenges of addiction in my home, and then a second divorce in my family, and a lot of death, and a lot of questions, and a lot of challenges. And I think you look at your life, we all look at our own lives, and it's not an unfamiliar story. It comes in different packages, but as I pull back and look at this book, it's really been the last 41 years. It's been cooking my whole life, maybe even before I was born. God was setting me up to write this little contribution, to the story. And so, yeah, I'm thankful to have the privilege to do that.
Were you able to fit all of these strategies in here, or do you think there's going to be round two coming out on down the road a little?
I don't know. I definitely have a few more books kind of in the hopper right now. And year by year, we'll see what the topics are. This one I wrote at this time because I just feel like coming out of the pandemic now, a few years, it's not going away. People are crumbling. I mean, I have on my phone right now, I'm in 4 or 5 different text message streams with people in crisis. And it's just whether it's divorce or betrayal or unexpected health issues, like this is not going away. And so I felt like, really, as a pastor, I wanted to just put some of the thoughts that I really believe are straight from scripture in one spot, that hopefully they're accessible for people that find themselves, whether they're coming out of a hurricane or in the middle of a hurricane or, preparing. I think that we have to prepare for days ahead that might not be easy. And so that's really the vision of the book.
For folks who don't really like to sit down and open a book up, did you get to do
Yeah.
the audio form of this one?
We sure are. Yeah, it's actually already recorded. It's supposed to hit Audible, I think this week or next week, sometime real soon.
Nice, and lots of other audio out there for you too. You get the podcast, The Devoted Life. Maybe tell
That's right.
people a little bit what to expect with that.
Yeah, the Devoted Life podcast comes out every month talking about key issues. What does it mean to live a life devoted to Jesus? Also, on the Bible app, there is a How to Quiet the Hurricane Bible app. At justinkendrick.com, there's a bunch of free resources for the book, a small group guide, a prayer guide, just trying to help people really apply this stuff to their lives.
It's out there now and doing well. Look it up. Justin Kendrick is the author, How to Quiet a Hurricane, the latest book from him. Good hanging with you today.
Good to hang with you too. Thanks for having me.